Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I know we've not been here for a very long time. In fact, it's coming up to a month now, and a lot of you must be very tied and occupied with other activities, I'm pretty certain. Our idea is to start our family study circle, inshallah, every Sunday. That's the plan. The idea is so that we can learn together, we can share together, and we can explore our minds, our thoughts together as our families, wherever you are. So let me begin by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For those of you who have just joined, let me say salam to you all and welcome you to our program. Alfonso is already here. Salam, my beloved brother Alfonso. Thank you. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's good to see you. It's good to be here again, inshallah. I hope you all have told your friends and your families to be here with us. How have you been? What have you been up to? How has your post-Ramadan blues, as we call them, been? Have you been keeping up the good spirit of Ramadan? What have you been up to? I'd love to hear from yourselves, brothers and sisters. So do join us. We're going to be studying together. Happy to see your beautiful smile, Alfonso. Thank you. I know you can see me smiling, but I can't see you, which of course is not a problem. Inshallah, we will over time overcome that. So today, wherever you are, brothers and sisters, our first session today is going to be the family study session, where you should bring your family, your husband, your wife, your parents, your children, your grandchildren, grandparents, bring them all together in one room if you can. And let's talk. I know today I'm competing with football. Some of you are watching football. I think there's a football match going on between Liverpool and Everton today. But you know what, brothers and sisters? You know, you can watch football if you like. I'm not going to stop you. But we are going to continue, regardless of whoever is here. Inshallah, the plan is to continue slowly grow and grow our knowledge base and grow our desire to learn and be together. You know, brothers and sisters, the most important thing about Islam, as we talked about in the month of Ramadan, over and over again, is for us to think, critically think, abilities to think clearly, abilities to be able to think critically, abilities to be able to think outside the box. That's what makes our religion so distinct and so beautiful. So today, I'm going to be talking about some of those things, inshallah. And for those of you who have been able to join us today, stay with us. Every Sunday, we'll be studying together in this very room. Of course, on my Facebook page, this will be live broadcast, and my YouTube page will be live broadcast, and will be advertised from Whiteman Road Mosque's website. And it is done on behalf of and by the courtesy of our masjid, Whiteman Road Masjid. As you know, alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, we have done all that we can to be able to serve our communities despite the lockdown. We are hoping that the lockdown will be over very soon. I've got Akhi AMS, look, who is in our very assertive Imam, Ajmal, mashallah, assalamu alaikum, my brother or my sister, whoever you are. Akhi, so I'm assuming you're a man. Thank you for joining us. Whoever you are, brothers and sisters. So the format of our program is going to be, we're going to be starting at 7 o'clock. We'll finish at about 8:30. You don't have to stay for the whole length of time. You can if you want to. And you can ask questions. You can raise issues, points, whatever you like. Every Sunday, inshallah, I'd like you to join us if you can. And actually, if you come at 7 and we finish by 8 o'clock, I don't have a problem with that. We don't have to go on till 8:30. I just have given an extra bit of time so that we don't run out of time. What we're going to be studying is a structured program so that we can learn more together as a family. So that's what we're going to do today. We've got Benazir Chaudhry, say Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. My dear brother Benazir, welcome to a sister. It will be a sister, I think, Benazir Chaudhry. Welcome to our program. Thank you for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, a heartfelt welcome to you all. And I'm hopeful and I'm praying that you've had a fantastic few weeks post-Ramadan now. And of course, getting ready for masjid opening whenever the masjid opens, getting ready for starting your life back to normal again, inshallah, inshallah. But always be careful. Care is most important in all of it. So today, I will be introducing you the first topic of our conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about our belief. But before I do that, let me do an introduction to Islam. just so that you know, my brothers and sisters, introduction is very important. If you were to divide up Islam in terms of how we look at the faith as a whole and practice, you can divide it into three parts. Three parts, my brothers and sisters. We've got Jasmine Ahmed joining us. Wa alaikum assalam. And Benazir Chowdhury also has joined us. MashaAllah. Thank you for you all. Zizzle Andrea has joined us. Wa alaikum assalam. Brothers and sisters, so I was talking about Islam. When you look at Islam, you can divide our faith and practice into three parts. Please remember this. I'm going to ask you this question again. First part is called Aqidah. Note it down if you can't remember it. The first part is called Aqidah. Second part is called Ibadat. And third part is called Mu'amalat. So Aqidah, Ibadat, and Mu'amalat. Can somebody tell me what I've just said? First one is Aqidah. Second one is Ibadat. And third one is Mu'amalat. Benazir, I'm a brother. Thank you, my brother. Allah bless you. Welcome. So three parts to our faith and practice. If you divide it up, for ease of understanding, I'm dividing them up into three boxes. Aqidah is one box, and Aqidah means belief. Ibadat is worship, another box. And the third box is called Mu'amalat. Mu'amalat is everything else that we do. Our social interaction, our day-to-day living, everything outside the elements of faith, our belief system, and outside the system of worship. Those are the three divisions that I would be covering, inshallah, over time. Aqidah is spelled as A-Q-E-E-D-A, Aqidah, which means belief system. Secondly, Ibadat means worship system. And third is Mu'amalat, our social infrastructure, social interactions, and everything else. So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to be dividing them up into those three parts. MashaAllah, Imam Ishaq Jasad has joined us. Wa alaikum assalam, Shaykh Jasad. Thank you for joining us. And I'm hoping your family has joined us too, inshallah. So, we're going to be talking about three elements of our faith. Remember, Aqidah, I'm going to repeat again. Aqidah, that means, what does it mean? Faith. All aspects of our faith, our belief. Ibadat, which is all aspects of our worship. And the third is Mu'amalat, all aspects of our social interactions. So today I'm going to start with Aqidah. And I'm going to make it simple and not complicated. Make it very simple and non-complicated, if you don't mind. So the first point of Aqidah that I want to share with you is that our belief in Allah. Our belief in Allah is the first principle of our Aqidah, our belief system. The first thing and the most important thing we must believe in is Allah. And how do we believe in Allah? What do we say about Allah? What do we know about Allah? We refer to Surah Ikhlas. Surah Ikhlas is Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad. For those of you who don't know Surah Ikhlas, please check it out. Surah Ikhlas is one of the small surahs towards the end of the Quran. It is surah number 112. It is not a very long surah. It is a relatively short surah, and you can quite easily refer to it. So I'm going to refer to Surah Ikhlas today so that we can all learn and understand what we're talking about. So I will be sharing this screen for you for a few seconds. So please watch this screen very carefully. Share the screen, and I will be sharing the screen as I put up. There you go. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So Surah Ikhlas is what we're going to be discussing today. Brothers and sisters, I want you to listen to this surah very carefully. Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Allahu samad. Then lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Not many verses in this surah, my brothers and sisters. Very few verses actually. If you look at Surah Ikhlas, you would be surprised that this verse, this surah, is so short, and yet it contains almost everything that you need to know about Allah. There are only 4 verses in this surah. The meaning of this surah is as follows. Allah says, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Say, Allah is one. He is one God. He is one and only. That's the first and the foremost thing you must understand. Then he says, Allah is the eternal. Let me put my glasses on so I can see properly. You know, I can't see without my glasses. Allah is the eternal, the uncaused cause of all being. I'll explain this in a minute. Then the third verse, Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He is not begotten, nor does he beget. In other words, he has no children and he has no parents. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is no one like him. There is no one in this universe comparable to him. There is nothing that could be compared with him. So let's go through this again. We're talking about our belief system, my brothers and sisters. When it comes to belief system, you can't make them up. I want you to know this very carefully. You cannot make up a belief system. You cannot say something about Allah without Allah telling you and I what we should believe about him. You should only believe about Allah what Allah tells you. And where do we find this? In the Quran. Absolute words of Allah in the Quran. And that's how we believe in Allah. You do need evidence to believe in anything about Allah. If there is no evidence, you don't believe in it. So when it comes to Aqidah, first part of Aqidah is believing in one Allah. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Allah is one. Now, when you say La ilaha illallah, when we say La ilaha illallah, most of us know the meaning of La ilaha illallah. It means there is nothing worthy of worship. La ilaha, there is no ilah illallah except Allah. You are saying there is nothing, there is no ilah, there is no deity, there is no power, there is nobody who I will be subordinate to, I will submit to, I will surrender to wholeheartedly, completely and willingly, except one Allah, one and the only. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Allah is one and only, and you only worship Allah as one and the only. You only submit to Allah as one and the only. You only become subordinate to Allah, the one and the only. This is what La ilaha illallah means. Nothing, there is nothing in this universe worthy of my submission. No law, no power, no authority do I have has any power over me, except I say Allah is the one who has all power over me, all authority over me. That's a powerful statement, my brothers and sisters. And that one Allah, that belief in one Allah cannot be diluted. There is no room for compromising in one Allah. When the Quraysh, the Meccans, came to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said to the Meccans, "Oh, come on." Meccan said to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Come on, Muhammad, why don't you worship our God for a few days, and we'll worship your God for a few days, and of course we'll all share in our goodness." Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "No." The whole surah was revealed, and if I was to refer to that surah for you all, so that you know, my brothers and sisters, you would all remember this surah is not Surah Ikhlas. Remember the surah that came down refuting the Quraysh's desire to share in Allah was refuted immediately. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ was revealed. Surah Al-Kafirun, again towards the end of the Quran, we find Surah Al-Kafirun appearing. And let me open it for you. Surah number 109. Brothers and sisters, Surah number 109 categorically says what Rasulullah told the Quraysh when they came to ask him if they could share in Allah. The verse was very clear. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. O you who deny the truth. لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. I do not worship that which you worship. وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ. And neither do you worship that which I worship. وَلَا أَنَا أَعْبُدُ مَا عَبَدْتُمْ. And I will never worship that which you worship. وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ. And neither will you ever worship that which I worship. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. Unto you, your moral law, and unto mine, mine. Unto me, mine. My brothers and sisters, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ was a decisive revelation ending that confusion amongst some of the Quraysh. Oh, maybe Muhammad can share in our God, in our deities that we worship. No, I'm afraid there was no room for such a negotiation whatsoever. Rasulullah categorically said no. He said no, absolutely no. So today I want you to be very clear. One Allah, He's only one. And the Quran is very clear about it. Say Allah is one. Allahu Samad. He is the eternal, uncaused cause of all beings. In other words, Allah has always existed. Allah has always existed. Allah didn't need a cause to make him into being. So there was no creator for Allah. Allah is the creator, the beginning. There was no beginning before him. Logically speaking, if there was somebody who created Allah, then Allah will not be the beginning. The one who created Allah will be the beginning. That it becomes almost an irrational logic, because you can never come to a conclusion about where the beginning was. You have to accept a point of beginning. That point of zero, the point of beginning, is Allah. He does not need a cause to be. He does not need a creator to make him. He does not need any other power to make him powerful. He is the source of all power. He is the beginning. He is the creator, the master of the universe. I want you to be very, very clear. Somebody has asked questions. Can you please tell us why an atheist dies? He again offered janazah prayer according to okay. Well, this is slightly different, Brother Mahbub. I would not be answering that question today. Another time, inshallah. Benazir Chaudhry has raised equal to three recitations of the glorious Quran, if I'm not mistaken. We're not talking about that. Don't digress. Keep to the point. The point is about Allah. How do you know Allah? Is Allah one and the only? I want you to be absolutely clear today. How does Allah look like? What does he look like? Can we imagine what he looks like? Can we give him a form and a shape? Can we start doing things about Allah? Can we say Allah needed a creator and there must be somebody who created Allah? Allah must have a son. Allah must have a daughter. Can we say all of that? No, we can't. Because if we do, we're becoming irrational. According to Islam, the most rational position is to accept Allah as one and the only. And he is the one who existed eternally. He was the uncaused cause of all things. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He had no son, and nor did he have any parents. If he had a son, the son automatically would be like Allah. If he had parents, parents would automatically be like Allah. Therefore, it's illogical to suggest and put an attribute to Allah to having a son or parents. Allah is free of all of that. You and I are in need of all of those things. We need parents to grow. Allah doesn't need parents to grow. We need parents to come to being. Allah doesn't need to have parents to come to being. He has always been. Understanding this is very important, so that your faith in Allah is never diluted. It's always pure and clean. I want you to, my brothers and sisters, then refer to the last verse, which is وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ, and there is nothing that could be compared to Allah. Nothing in this universe is like Allah. Nothing. Can you ever imagine something is like Allah? No. There is nothing in this universe that is like Allah. Allah is unique. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Absolutely unique. If you imagine Allah into a shape, you have destroyed the uniqueness of Allah conceptually. If you imagine Allah to be like human beings, you are no longer accepting Allah for who Allah is. You are attributing a human feature to Allah Azza wa Jal. We can't do that. Unless Allah says so, we cannot attribute anything to him. I want to also read to you today Ayatul Kursi. Allahu la ilaha illahu. You know Ayatul Kursi, those of you know. Allahu la ilaha. I'm going to get the verse up on my screen and I can share it with you, inshallah. So here is my the surah itself, the verse that I want to share. Let's share again, everybody. Let's watch the screen. There you go. That's the verse. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. Very beautiful, very beautiful. This surah is very simple. Allah says, this verse is very beautiful. Allah says, Allah, there is no deity save Him, the ever-living, the self-subsistent, fount of all being. Neither slumber overtakes Him, nor sleep. He is all that is in the heavens and all that is on earth. Who is there that could intercede with Him unless it be by His permission? He knows all that lies before, open before human beings, and all that lies hidden from them, whereas they cannot attain to aught of His knowledge save that which He wills them to attain. His eternal power overspreads the heavens and the earth, and their upholding wearies Him not, and He alone is truly exalted and tremendous. My brothers and sisters, I want you to know Allah for the way Allah has described Him. You cannot make up Allah in the way you want. The first part of this is very beautifully described in this particular chapter, as you can see, where Allah is saying absolutely clearly that Allah is one, there is no deity save Him. We've already talked about that. He's ever living. He's always existed. He has never not existed, and He will never die. He is self-sufficient. He does not need anything. We need sleep. He doesn't need sleep. We need food. He doesn't need food. We need rest. He doesn't need rest. We need love. He doesn't need love. We need warmth. He doesn't need any of that. Allah is not in need of anything. He does not go to sleep, nor does He get tired. He is all that is in the heavens and all that is on this earth. Everything in this heavens and the earth is because of Him. And can anyone intercede on your behalf on the day of judgment unless Allah gives him the permission? No. Nobody can. Those people who say they can, they're just talking nonsense. Some people say, oh, my sheikh can intervene on my behalf. They can't. The only who would be allowed to intervene amongst human race would be Rasulullah, and this will be by the permission of Allah. Allah knows everything that is open or that is secret, whereas we know nothing. Allah has eternal power that overspreads over heavens and the earth, and their burden does not make Allah tired. Allah is exalted and tremendous. That's Allah, my brothers and sisters. Let's expand a bit more. Allah does not have a feature. It's you and I who have a feature. We look like certain ways. We are not. We are with a shape. You cannot put a shape to Allah. You cannot put a shape to Allah. Allah has His own features that we have no knowledge of. If Allah says, we accept. If Allah says nothing, we don't speculate. We don't make it up. So Allah doesn't have a shape that we can attribute to. Allah does not need to sleep. He does not need to eat. He does not get tired. He does not need love. He does not need parents. He does not need children. He does not need assistance. He does not need, because the concept of need is beyond Allah. Allah is absolute. There is nothing left of power that anyone can fill, or there is a vacuum in Allah, none whatsoever, zero. As long as you understand Allah for the right way, you're fine. If you understand Allah wrongly, then there is a problem. Some people misunderstand Allah. Some people think Allah is a he or a she. My brothers and sisters, Allah is neither he nor a she. The Arabic word Allah is always singular, gender, always singular. There is no plural of Allah in Arabic language. You cannot make plural of Allah in Arabic language. It's always singular. Always singular. And Allah, the Arabic word, is always gender neutral. It's never male or a female. The Arabic word Allah is gender neutral. It never refers to a male or a female. In English language, we use the English word he referring to Allah because in the linguistic sense of the usage of Arabic English language, the word he can also be used when we're talking about gender neutral entity. Allah is not a he or a she. Allah is always singular. These concepts are very important. Did you know Christians and the Jewish people in the Arab world who speak Arabic and their first mother tongue or their mother tongue is Arabic, they always refer to God with the Arabic word Allah. And also clarify for you, when I use the word God, I mean the same exactly as Allah, the one and the only absolute, without any corruption. So brothers and sisters, have you understood Allah the way Allah should be understood? Allah's knowledge is infinite. Your knowledge is not infinite. You are limited. Allah is infinite. You are limited in capacity and in power. Allah's reach is infinite. You are limited in your reach and in your power. Allah has knowledge over everything. You and I don't. For Allah, there is no past. There is no future. There is no present. Everything is here and now. For Allah, everything is right instant. He knows everything. So there is no concept of time for Allah. For everything is under His control. He has created time for you and I to use. Allah doesn't need time. He doesn't need space. He doesn't need a physical space in which He should belong. Allah is beyond and above all of that. The concept of believing in one Allah is so powerful. If you can grasp it, your faith is absolutely sorted. If you can't, then there is a problem. So I want you, my brothers and sisters, raise any questions. Do you have any questions to raise about Allah so far? We're talking about Allah today. We're going to be covering one topic at a time. First topic is Allah. I will be talking about Allah today in the best way I can. But if you have got any questions to raise about Allah and what we've discussed so far, please go ahead. I'm listening to you and I'm going to wait for you to raise any questions about Allah. We're talking about Allah as our creator, Ilah. The reason why you say La ilaha illallah. When you say La ilaha illallah, you mean something specific. And when you say La ilaha illallah, what is it that you mean? We've talked about Allah, to whom you submit, to whom you surrender. A lot of people believe in Allah but don't understand Allah fully. If you understood Allah fully, why would you go and devote your worship to a human being who is dead in their grave? If you truly understood and accepted Allah, why would you have tawakkul on anybody else except Allah? When I say tawakkul, I mean reliance on Allah. If you truly believe in Allah, why would you seek help from anybody else except Allah first? You must seek Allah's help first, because Allah's help is the absolute help. If we truly understood Allah and the nature of Allah, we would not dilute our faith in any other way. You know, there is a saying of Rasulullah about tawakkul, where he says, every morning, as birds leave their homes or their nests, and they return in the evening, when they leave in the morning, they don't know where their food is going to be coming from, but they go out there looking for food. And they come back. When they come back with stomach full. If you truly rely on Allah completely and fully, you leave your home early in the morning to go to work, fully having faith that Allah will not keep you hungry. Say something about Allah's position, where He is pleased. Where Allah is, He Himself says, I am above my creation. I am over and above my creation. I'm in full control. وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. As we have just read here, and very clearly He says in Surah Al-Baqarah, in Ayatul Kursi, where He explains it very clearly, and He says, and His eternal power overspreads over the heavens and the earth. Absolutely, He is above and over the heavens and the earth. My brothers and sisters, Allah doesn't need to be physically present on this universe physically, like you and I exist here right now, if I believe Allah physically exists in one place, then you're limiting Allah to one place. Allah does not need a place, time, or space. Allah is beyond that all because He created space, time, and place for us as human beings to benefit from. So, first lesson for us is about Allah. And when you say La ilaha illallah, you testify that there is nothing you're willing to submit to, you're willing to surrender to. There is nothing in this universe who deserve your complete submission or surrender except Allah. That's what you say, La ilaha illallah. You don't worry about your worldly affairs because you believe in Allah. You are not afraid of anybody harming you except you believe in Allah, because Rasulullah said, if the whole humanity was to come together, if all man and woman were to come together, even if the jinns were to come together and wanted to harm you, they could not harm you any more than what Allah knows about it. And if they wanted to benefit you, they would not be able to benefit you any more than what Allah knows about it. My brothers and sisters, that belief is what makes you a strong believer. Let me share with you an anecdote, a story. There was a man who was disputing with a Hindu gentleman about whose God is more powerful. Is God of Muslims, Allah, more powerful than God of the Hindus, Bhagavan they call him? And they were arguing. So both of them decided, okay, if we claim that our God is more powerful, why don't we do this? We climb on top of that tree and we go on to the top of the tree and we jump down. And when we jump down, we call the name of our God. I call my Bhagavan's name and I jump down, and you call your Allah's name and you jump down. Whoever survives will know that God is true and most powerful. So they went up to the top, and the Hindu gentleman said to the Muslim guy, jump. The Muslim guy said, no, you jump first. Anyway, the Hindu guy goes, what the hell, I'm going to jump anyway. So he calls his name of his Bhagavan loudly, and he jumps. He jumps and he lands on the floor and he stands upright and he's absolutely fine. The guy on the top of the tree looks down and sees, oh my God, the Hindu guy has survived by calling his Bhagavan. What if I don't survive? Doubt crept into his heart. And as soon as doubt crept into his heart, he didn't know whether to call the name of Allah or to call the name of Bhagavan. So he jumped and he called the name of Bhagavan and Allah together. The anecdote I'm sharing with you, my brothers and sisters, isn't to demonstrate which God is important and which God isn't. That's not my concern. My concern is if you believe in Allah, it must be undiluted, uncorrupted, uncompromised belief in Allah. Nothing else. And that's the hard thing. That's a hard thing. I understand. God is viewed as a masculine sense, both in Judaism and Christianity. Is this a misconception by two other faiths? Yes, completely. God is neither a male nor a female. God does not need a gender. Gender is for human beings. Gender is for Allah's creation on this earth. And when Allah created human beings and all the species, He says, I've created them in opposites, in pairs, in order for the miracle of procreation to continue. He designed in His design, original design, that only way every species on this earth will continue multiplying is by creating them in pairs in opposite gender, male and a female, in everything. And it is Allah's design. Allah doesn't need to be a gender specific. He is non-gender specific. It's a misconception amongst people who say Allah is a he. No, Allah is not a he. The word he is used because there is no substitute for non-gender word. So therefore he is used. But it is not to indicate that Allah is a male or a female. I want you to be very clear about this. So if you are clear, brilliant. If you're not clear, ask questions. Here is your chance to raise any questions you have about Allah. Let me continue, and you can raise questions as we go along. So when we say La ilaha, the first concept of our belief, our faith system, is believing in Allah, but you deny the existence of anything. So somebody asked about an atheist. Somebody who denies the existence of Allah, denies the existence of any power, is an atheist. For anyone to be a Muslim, the first thing they have to do is they have to be an atheist first. They have to be denier of everything. They have to say there is no God, there is nothing worthy of worship, there is no power, there is nothing in this universe. La ilaha, there is no deity. Absolute negation. It's only by negating, it's only by denying do you create a space for undiluted, uncorrupted, absolute concept of Allah to enter your heart. It's only by denying first. Once you've denied, in other words, you've cleansed your inner being, your heart is clean, your mind is clean, there is no power worthy of worship, there is no deity. There is nothing in this world that deserves your full devotion and attention, your complete surrender. When you deny the power of anything like this in this universe, you create the right space inside you to then accept illallah, accept Allah. When you can accept Allah like that, then you have believed. But if you accept Allah with corruption, then you have not believed. Believing in Allah without any corruption means accepting everything that Allah has designed for you. Accepting all the rules Allah has made for you. Accepting your life and its span. Accepting your death the way Allah has designed it. The moment you will die, how you will die, where you will die. Accepting it. Accepting that your life will be full of challenges, tests and trials, and you will not complain. You will not become depressed. You will not give up. You will not allow sadness and anxiety to overwhelm you. You will completely accept what Allah has made for you. You look at your own self and you say, Allah has made me in the most beautiful way. I am accepting myself. You look at your own self and you see all the beauty and perfection in Allah's creation, even though you know there is imperfection in comparison to the most perfect Allah. You cannot be perfect, but still you accept what Allah has created. And that is you in the most perfect way possible, in the most suitable way, the best design, the best composition Allah has made you. You accept it. When people go and try and do, for example, a nose job because their nose is too small or too big, they try and straighten their eyebrows, or they try and do operations, cosmetic operations to look better, they're actually saying what Allah has made is not good enough. Cosmetic operations to make you look better is actually questioning Allah's creation. Allah, sorry, your creation is not good enough. I'm going to make it better. There is a difference between cosmetic operation to enhance your looks and correcting an anomaly that may have happened at birth or at conception. So, for example, somebody has a cleft lip. That's not what was designed, perhaps, and it can be repaired without any extreme interventions. That's not a problem. If somebody's ears have not been completely formed, cosmetic operation to put it right, that's not a problem. But you have nice ears, but you don't believe your earlobe is nice looking enough. And you try and surgically enhance your earlobe. You try and enhance your nose, your lips, your body parts. It's become an obsession in certain societies, going and doing breast enlargement or reduction, tummy tuck, buttocks upliftment, all sorts of crazy things people do. My brothers and sisters, these are signs of the fact that you haven't actually accepted what Allah has given you. If you believe in Allah, you will accept what Allah has given you. You will accept for who you are. Unless your character is miserable, then that's not what Allah has designed you with. That's a learned behavior. Your natural disposition, the way you've been made from the original way called fitrah, you're perfect. Most beautiful, accepting it. Accepting the fact that Allah has had time specific for you. You will live from I was born in 1971. Allah has decided that I would be born in 1971, and Allah has already decided when I'm going to be born. My father was born in 1928, and Allah decided that my father should die in 2017. That was Allah's decision. Allah decided that my father would live most of his life in his formative time in Bangladesh until the age of about 25. Then he would come to the UK and he would live in the UK. That's Allah's decision. And Allah has decided that he would be born in Bangladesh but die in the UK, bury and get buried here. These are all decisions Allah has made, accepting them. Getting all of this through our head, that if you truly believe in Allah, you accept the moment Allah has designed you, He has assigned your life expectancy, moment of death, when you'll die, how you'll die. Accepting them all constitutes part of our Aqidah, belief in Allah, no doubt about it. If you don't accept it, then you are only denying the truth. You cannot alter it. So when you believe in one Allah without any corruption, without any dilution, without any doubts in your heart, that's when you truly submit to Allah. I come across many people who struggle to submit completely, surrender to Allah. They struggle. If you struggle to submit to Allah, that's a struggle that you have to overcome, of course, and it takes time, I understand. But truly and honestly, ask yourself this question. Have I truly understood Allah, accepted Allah, submitted to Him? Have you? If you have, then this is what you will say in the Quran. In the Quran, Allah teaches us what we say. He says, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي. Say, إِنَّ صَلَاتِي. I'm going to bring the verse for you. Just give me 1 second. Inna salati. As soon as the verse comes up, I will share it with you, inshallah, so you can see. And we are not confused in any way, shape, or form. Let's share my screen again. And here you go. Bismillah. This verse I want you to read. قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Say, surely my prayer, my acts of worship, all my living and my dying are for Allah alone. This is what you will say if you truly believe in Allah. My prayer, my sacrifice, acts of worship, all of that, my life and my death are only for Allah. It's not for anybody else. It's only for Allah. So if you truly understand Allah, this is what you will say. If you truly submit to Allah, this is what you would say. If you cannot submit to Allah and surrender to Him, then of course it's a journey you have to make. I understand that journey. Wallahi, I do. That journey takes a lot of time and a lot of learning. Arrogance and ego is a problem on your way of surrendering. If you want to surrender to Allah, you have to get rid of arrogance and ego. You need to know that you don't know. Allah knows. You need to accept that you are weak. Allah is most powerful. You need to accept that Allah is unlimited, infinite, and you're limited. You need to know that Allah does not need anything. You do. You need to know that you're only a small speck in the greater and the bigger scheme of the creation that Allah has made in this universe. When you understand all of that, only then can you submit. Only then can you understand and truly believe in Allah. So my brothers and sisters, I've been speaking for now coming up to 40 minutes. I don't want to speak for too long. It gets very tiring. But the reason why I'm speaking and I'm giving you all of this is because family learning means you should all be on the same page. There should be no mumbo jumbo when it comes to Allah and believing in Him. None whatsoever. In our communities, there are lots of misconceptions. There are lots of cultural baggages that people carry. I remember I went to one country, I remember going to Pakistan, I think, and they took me to a mosque. And as I was entering the mosque, there was a grave right at the center of the mosque, and people were bowing down and prostrating as they were entering the mosque. And I asked, why are you bowing down and prostrating here? They said, because this is the graveyard of some saint. And I said, Astaghfirullah. In fact, I did not even pray in that place after that. I just walked off. This is not a mosque. That's a place of shirk, associating deities with Allah. This man is dead. He was a human being. You don't give vows and sacrifices to somebody like that. Never. Not even to Rasulullah. It's only to Allah. Your entire life, your prayer, your sacrifice, everything that you do must be only for Allah. No dilution in it. Even if it sounds difficult, even if you find it hard to accept, it's fine. If you want to come to Islam, you need to know the faith very well. And the central part of our faith is believe in Allah. Okay, let me pause here. Do we have any questions anyone wants to ask? I know you guys are laughing at my expression, buttocks upliftment. Yes, it does exist. Some people go for operations to make their backside look different. I don't know why. People spend thousands of pounds in breasts enlargement, breast augmentation, this, that, and the other. Operations for a tummy tuck is absolutely going through the roof. And so many other vanity projects that people go into because they haven't accepted what Allah has given them. Slightly different, by the way, brothers and sisters. If I've been unhealthy in my life, if I've been eating junk food, and if I've been lazy, and if I put on a lot of weight, and I'm finding it difficult to shed my weight because I can't be bothered to sacrifice and be more disciplined, and then I go for a tummy tuck or an operation to make myself look slimmer, I can guarantee you very quickly you'll put on the same weight all over again because it's the willpower that you need to change, not tummy tuck. If you change your willpower, you will know how to eat better, healthier, and do exercise, and therefore you lose your extra weight. However, if you think by doing an operation you're going to become slimmer and happier, I've got bad news for you. It never happens. So while some people may, for medical reasons, need operations for many reasons, I understand that. I know one brother who was suffering so much. He did everything possible and he was not able to lose weight and it was causing him trouble. And doctors diagnosed him one-way ticket to grave very soon if he doesn't do something about it. And he did everything possible. So then doctors stapled his stomach temporarily. And he was only able to eat a handful of food whenever he ate. And he didn't feel hungry after that. And within 6 months, he lost stones upon stones. I think many stones. I think he probably lost half of his body weight and became very slim very quickly and healthier, fitter. When he became healthy and fit and his mindset changed, his attitude changed, then they unstapled his stomach. He was fine. Accepting Allah is about actually accepting Allah as your creator, designer, fashioner, sustainer. Allah is Al-Khaliq, the creator. Allah is Ar-Rabb, the one who is sustaining you all the time, actively involved in your life. Hilal Musawwir, the one who has given you the best of design. All of those things have to be accepted. Worshipping graveyards such as that of Shah Jalal in Sylhet in Bangladesh or other, is this correct, brother? Well, it is, of course, shirk. Worshipping anything but Allah is shirk. It is against La ilaha illallah. Worshipping any human being, dead or alive. Rasulullah said, you don't worship me. When he passed away, you know the story. When he passed away, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was very emotionally affected by the death of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said very clearly to everybody, if somebody said Muhammad is dead, I'm going to kill you. And he took his sword out. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was the most senior companion amongst the companions of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said something very, very powerful and very important. He said, for those of you who have been worshipping Muhammad, I can tell you Muhammad is dead. But for those of you who have been worshipping Allah, my Allah never dies. Allahu Akbar. My Allah never dies. Allah never dies. He is eternal. He's absolute. We don't worship Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why would we worship somebody who is dead and who is a human being like you and me? Why would we do that? Why would we make a graveyard a center of a shrine and a place of worship? Why would you do that? It makes no sense. Islam is a religion of rationale, religion of knowledge, religion of devotion to one Allah. In Islam, there are no hierarchies, you know. You don't have to come to an imam to reach Allah. Allah is directly available to you. When we know this is how Islam is, don't dilute your faith. Have that absolute faith in one Allah. You will be fine. Your life will be fine. In fact, you will be far better in accepting Allah as one and the only, as the most logical, most sensible, and most contenting belief system that you can ever find anywhere in the world. One and absolute one Allah. Nothing more, nothing less. Any other questions from anybody, please raise them. I'm here to answer any questions you have, that you may have. I don't know if you are raising questions separately in other platforms. If you are, I can't see them. So if you want to raise questions, you have to write here on the platform that I'm talking from. I can see from both Facebook and YouTube, you are raising questions and they're coming to me directly. I'm very happy to answer any questions. There are certain other bad practices I've seen in our community when it comes to dilution of our faith. There are people who believe that getting a glass of water and blowing in it Allah's name, or dipping the verses of the Quran in it and drinking the water will cure you. Dilution of your faith. You believe in Allah, you ask Allah to help you. Drinking water by blowing in it isn't Allah's way of curing you. Allah's way of curing you is asking, Ya Allah, please help me. For example, for this coronavirus that we have seen, pandemic that is taking over our world, there is a dua. Rasul said, he has taught us, and we need to make this dua. And if you don't know this dua, learn it. And if you don't know it in Arabic, it's okay. Allahumma rabbin nas, idhab al-ba's, washfi anta shafi, la shifa'un illa shifa'ak, shifa'an la yughadiru saqama. You make that dua for any illnesses that you have. And if you are still struggling, ask Allah to help and support you. Somebody says, Ali Zaman Aurangzeb, you are one of my favorite person. Love you. Thank you, my brother. I love you too. Allah bless you. Thank you very much. Very kind. If there are any questions to do with Allah, raise this here. We will answer them, inshallah. Today is all about Allah because it's about faith. Part of our faith is that we will be questioned by Allah on the Day of Judgment. Is the hereafter. On the Day of Judgment, we will be asked questions. If you don't accept that, then there is a problem in you accepting Allah. Part of our faith is that you will be questioned in your grave. If you don't accept that, there is a problem. Part of our faith is that there is a concept called destiny. If you don't accept that, then there is a problem. Part of our belief system is that Allah sent prophets before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah sent books through the angels. We have to accept all aspects of belief as Allah has said. We can't make them up. We cannot make them up. If you make them up, that's a problem. Naima Ben says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Amin ya Rabbil Alameen. Yes, Amin indeed, my dear sister. We make dua for one another that Allah keeps us on the right path and keeps us on the straight path in a way that we deserve, in a way that we will benefit from Allah Azza wa Jal's ni'mah, mercy, barakah, inshallah. If you want to ask any questions, please go ahead, ask them. And my role is here to try and answer as many questions as possible and clarify any misconceptions that lie around, because it's a family space where we need to learn. If our children have got questions, let them ask them as well. My wife has a bad memory. Is there a dua to overcome this? Well, we all have bad memories, my brother. In Tazar Ali, you said your wife, we all have a bad memory. Memory is by nature. Allah says in the Quran, He has created us as insan. The Arabic word insan means a group of people who forget. So we forget by nature. We're forgetful. You will forget undoubtedly. Your wife will forget undoubtedly. The dua is to remind her. Remember this. That's the dua for reminder. You can make dua of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Rabbi zidni ilma. Rabbi shrah li sadri. Wa yassir li amri. Wahlul uqdatan min lisani. Yafqahu qawli. Let me give you the reference. I'm going to put it up on the screen, inshallah, and you can take it down. Rabbi zidni ilma. You will find this very important dua that Musa alayhi salatu wasalam made when he went to see Pharaoh. Let me just see. Rabbi zidni ilma. Where is the dua gone? When I find it, inshallah, I will give it to you, brothers and sisters. It's in Surah Taha. Surah Taha, verse number, let me see if I can find it for you. Verse number 115. I think it starts at 114. So 114 to 118, I think that's the verses. Let me just check. Rabbi zidni ilma. No, actually, let me find the dua for you. If somebody knows the reference, share with me. Rabbi shrah li, Rabbi shrah. See, this is the dua Musa alayhi salatu made. Rabbi shrah li sadri. It's in Surah Taha, Surah 20. Surah 20, verse number. Let me find the verse number as well for you, so that we can all have access to it. 25 to 30, I think. Bismillah. There you go. Musa said, Rabbi, let me try and share it as well for everybody. Bismillah. Stop sharing the screen and share again. There you go. That's the dua. That's the dua of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Rabbi shrah li sadri. Surah 20, verse 25. وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِّسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. The meaning of this surah is رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. O Allah, O my sustainer, open up my heart to your light. وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي, and make my tasks easy for me. وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِّسَانِي, loosen the knot from my tongue. And then يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي, so that they might fully understand what I say. Naima has also shared, mashallah. Thank you, Naima. Allah bless you for sharing this on the side of our screen as we talk. So please do share with all of us. Naima said, I taught my daughters on Islam and raised them on our values. But when they became teenagers, they don't wear hijab. I don't know what to do. Well, my dear sister Naima, don't worry about them wearing hijab or not wearing hijab. That's not the most important thing for their journey. They need to believe in Allah. If they have iman, if they have the strength of faith, and if they have good knowledge, if they have confidence in their faith, if they love Allah, if they love their Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if they love the Quran, they will come to it, inshallah, one day. Fatima Mangara says, Ajmal, will you be doing this program every Sunday? Inshallah, my dear sister, we'll be doing this program between 7 and 8 every Sunday. Inshallah, for an hour, 7 and 8, or 7 and 8:30, depending on how we do. Alfonso says, if Allah rewards us in this world, would we still be rewarded in the hereafter? Of course, Allah will be rewarding you. In this world is one type of reward. The reward in the hereafter is very different. So that was the question that Sister Naima has raised. Don't worry, my dear Sister Naima. Do not worry about your daughters being wearing a headscarf at this stage. I would say just give them some time, inshallah. Inshallah. Okay. Any further questions for anybody else? Inshallah, we're discussing Allah, one and the only. We'll be talking about more about our belief system as we progress. Any question you have, we'll be very happy to answer, as long as it's related to our family study circle. Remember my dear sister Naima, who said, I brought up my children on Islam, taught them, and they no longer wear hijab. You know, hijab of your iman is more important than the hijab of your physical of your hair. Do you know why? Because if your iman is unstrong, if you don't really believe in Allah, if you don't really have any connections with Allah, you will not really do much. So you need to try and help your children to have a connection with Allah. How would a parent teach children in nursery about Allah besides showing them the creations of Allah? By showing them the creations of Allah is one of them, of course. But more importantly, engaging with them and allowing them to be curious, showing them, discussing with them. I've got 2 children, alhamdulillah, they've now grown up, and I have taken them out of their comfort zone. I have given them examples. I've allowed them to experience. And when they experience these things at home with their parents, if there is strong belief and knowledge at home with the parents, it's most likely that children will do the same. It's most likely that the children will do the same, that they will believe and they will practice. But if parents are lacking, and if parents are contradicting themselves constantly, then there's a problem. If you are inconsistent with your faith, your children will not find Islam very helpful. They would blame you for your failure, and then they would blame Islam, and they would blame Allah. They would say, see what Allah has created. If my parents are like this, I might as well not be a Muslim. I have heard this many a times from children. And often children do cause these kind of questions, and parents don't know how to answer them, my brothers and sisters. I know parents are not, we're not all perfect. Of course, we are not perfect. We have our own faults and flaws, but we need to be able to start answering questions by increasing our own knowledge base. If your knowledge base is very weak, your children will also suffer as a consequence. So the structure of our program from here on is going to be, I will be talking about a different topic, and you can raise any questions you like. And I'll ask you questions, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to answer them. Today, I didn't raise any questions because it was our first session. From next Sunday, inshallah, whenever we are here together, I will raise questions for you to go and research and come up with answers. And I will also try and engage you with more perhaps quiz or other things. But today is the first one. So today what I did was I divided up our faith and our practices into 3 parts. Anyone remembers what's the first part? Let me see. So since, for those of you who have been here from the beginning, who can remember what's the first part of how I divided our faith? I divided our faith into 3 parts. What's the first one? Does anyone remember? Whoever remembers, please put it down on here on this on the screen and share with us what's the first part. There are 3 parts of our faith. The first part is what? What's the second part? And what's the third part? Let's see if somebody can remember, inshallah. Go on, brothers and sisters. If you can remember, share it with us. I'm doing a test now. For those of you who have been attending the whole hour so far, what have you learned? No, not Akila, Alfonso. Not Akila. You're nearly there. It's Aqidah. Aqidah. 7-year-old asks, do women need to cover arms and men don't? Why? It's very good. I'll answer that in a minute, inshallah. So, Alfonso, the first part of our faith, first part of our how I divided, first is called Aqidah. All aspects of your faith. All parts of your faith is called Aqidah. Second part is called Ibadat, worship. We've not talked about it today. We've only talked about Aqidah. And yes, Sister Fatima Mangera, you're right. You did say submission. I did discuss about submission is part of our Aqidah. Abu Abdullah, I joined late. Sorry, you joined late. I didn't understand the question. When you look at your faith is divided up into 3 parts, your faith and practice. That's how I'm teaching today. The first part is Aqidah, all aspect of my faith. Second part is all aspect of my worship, called Ibadat, all aspects of my worship, Ibadat. The third part of my faith and practice is called Mu'amalat. Everything else falls under the category of Mu'amalat. 3 categories. Faith, Aqidah, worship is Ibadat, and the third is called Mu'amalat. Remember, we're going to be talking about Aqidah now, faith, all aspects of faith. For you to believe in anything to do with faith, you must have evidence. You cannot believe in anything unless it is evidenced by Quran. If Allah says there is a day of judgment, you accept there is a day of judgment. If Allah says, I've revealed books before, you accept Allah's words as books before. If Allah says that you will all die and you will come to me, you accept that. Evidence-based belief system. You don't make them up as you go along. You don't make them up as you go along. There is no space for mumbo jumbo in Islam. Evidence-based. Quran is the word of Allah. You accept it. Yes, Aqidah. Correct, my dear sister. Naima Ben. Aqidah. Ibadat. And Mu'amalat. 3 aspects. In Aqidah, anything you believe must be based on evidence. No evidence, you don't believe it. If there is evidence, you believe it. What is evidence? Quran and absolutely authentic traditions of the Prophet of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam form the most important basis of Aqidah. You cannot doubt anything that is in the Quran. If you do, then you have not understood the concept of Aqidah well. Belief system must be understood fully and accepted. Okay. It's almost 8, I suppose, a few minutes past 8 o'clock. Are there any questions anyone wants to raise at this stage? If there are, then inshallah, somebody has just written Tawheed al-Rububiyyah and no, Sister Naima, don't complicate these things yet. Rububiyyat and Uluhiyyat, we're not talking about them at the moment. I'm making the life of our brothers and sisters who are studying from home easier. Oh, I don't want to complicate them with complicated Arabic terminologies. It's important that they understand Allah completely without any doubt. And that's what we're introducing here today. It's very important that you, as people, also understand Allah without complication. One of the reasons why many of our Christian friends find Christian theology difficult is because they have complicated Christianity by introducing things about Allah that actually never belongs to Allah. We don't want to do that in Islam. We want to keep it straight. We want to keep it simple. We want to keep it corruption-free. We want to keep it absolutely to the point. So that's today on Tawheed. Remember that, on Tawheed. On Aqidah, on the belief system that we've talked about. Move away from that, inshallah. I'll also be talking about on a daily, on our study circle, the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam as we progress. So today, as part of that, let's give you an introduction to the life of the Prophet. And I want you all to take part in this, inshallah. Can somebody give me the name of the name of the father of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What's the name of the father of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What was his name? That's a question for you all. If you can answer it, amazing. And what was the name of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mother? What was her name and what was his name? What were the names of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's parents? I just want you to start thinking about them. I want to introduce the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to you properly, one story at a time. And inshallah, we'll discuss them as we go along. His life is very important as part of that's the only way. Naima Ben said, no, Prophet ﷺ's father's name is not Abu Talib, my dear sister. Prophet ﷺ's father's name, lovely Nasreen says Abdullah, Fatima Mangara says Abdullah and Amina. Prophet ﷺ's uncle's name is Abu Talib. The reason why I talk about Abdullah is because Abdullah died before Prophet ﷺ was born. Abdullah died before Prophet ﷺ was born. In fact, he left Amina to visit. He was going to a business trip to Syria. And when he went, he did not even know that his wife was pregnant. He did not know that she was expecting. It's only after he left that she discovered that she was expecting. And when he left, he never came back. There was a lady who was the assistant of Amina, Prophet ﷺ's mother, Amina. This lady was the first person who held Prophet ﷺ when he was born, even before Amina. This is the lady who cleaned Prophet ﷺ after he was born, before Amina, and then handed over the baby Muhammad ﷺ to Amina, the mother. Who is this lady? Which is the best book of Sirah to read about the Prophet of Allah ﷺ? First, stay with me, inshallah. We will talk about it. I will give you more. What is the name of this lady? It's a question for you all. What is the name of this lady who Prophet ﷺ also called his mother after his real mother? And this lady refused to leave Prophet of Allah ﷺ. Amina died and she handed over young Muhammad, 6 years old, to this lady, saying, please look after him. And this lady never left the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. She in fact outlived the Prophet. She was present at his birth and she was present at his death. What's her name? Fatima Mangera says Ethiopian Ayman. Yes, but what's her real name? Somebody said Layl Zatoun says Halima. No. Barer, no, it's not. Lovely Nazrin says Barer. No, it's not Barer. Halima, no, I'm afraid incorrect. Fazgul, she was described as the wet nurse. I think no, she was not the wet nurse. The wet nurse was Halima. Halima Sa'diyya was the wet nurse of Rasulullah. Who was this lady? Barera? No, her name is not Barera. Fatima Mangera, correct. Baraka, thank you. Baraka was her name. In fact, that was not even her real name. Abdullah, when he got married to Amina, he wanted to have somebody to be around Amina all the time, and he went to a marketplace where he saw this young girl, and he really liked her. She was 9 years old, and he brought her over to his house. And he, as soon as she joined his house, he had lots and lots of barakah, lots and lots of blessings that started pouring into his home, and he could feel it. So Amina and Abdullah called her Barakah. Barakah was the name given to her by Abdullah and Amina. This lady was Ethiopian. She was black, and she did not have a name because she had been found, and Abdullah and Amina took her in. She had a baby called Ayman, and she was called Ayman. Barakah Ayman. She was a black woman. Prophet ﷺ called her my mother after my real mother. She called Barakah Ayman a lady of Jannah. He called her my mother, Ummi. Barakah Ayman, a black woman, was called my mother. I want you to know these things, brothers and sisters. When you study the life of Rasulullah, don't miss on these very intricate and yet very important details. What's the significance of Barakah Ayman? Why was Barakah Ayman so important in the life of Rasulullah? Amina died when Rasulullah was 6 years old. There was a mother figure in the life of Rasulullah all the way. All the way. It's called Barakah Ayman. She was his mother figure. Not his own mother, but mother figure. Everyone knew that Prophet ﷺ disliked people telling him to eat. Nobody could push him to eat, except Barakah Ayman. When Barakah Ayman would put food in front of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ, and she would sit there and say, eat, Prophet ﷺ would always eat. He would never turn the food away. As the only woman who could do that. Barakah Ayman was the only woman present when Amina gave birth to Rasulullah. I would be talking about Rasulullah's life throughout, inshallah, the next weeks and as many weeks as it takes. But today I want to introduce you to Abdullah, Amina, and Barakah Ayman, those three people. Abdullah was Prophet's father. He passed away well before he was born. He was a businessman. He was a descendant of the Quraysh. His father's name is Abdul Muttalib. It is said Abdul Muttalib and Abdullah went out on an expedition, and they went to Medina, where Abdul Muttalib saw Amina and suggested Amina to Abdullah for marriage, and he married her. And Prophet's mother was from Yathrib, Medina. That's why when he migrated at some stage, Medina had a special place in his heart. Very, very special place. It's his mum's hometown. There was a connection there. Amina was a very pious, very devout, very good, very caring woman. She saw a dream after her husband had gone to the trip, the last that she would see him. In her dream, she saw a light coming out of her stomach and lighting the path all the way to Syria. And she did not tell this dream to anybody except her own assistant called Barakah Ayman. She said this dream to Barakah, and Barakah said, I think you're pregnant, and I think you're going to give birth to a baby, and this baby is going to bring light and happiness to this world. Barakah is the first one to give an interpretation to a dream that his mother saw. And of course, Rasulullah was born many months after that. Barakah Ayman plays a huge role in the life of Rasulullah. Amina was only around for a very short period of time, Prophet ﷺ also had another woman in his life in the beginning called Halima. Halima was in the life of Rasulullah for 2 years. The first 2 years of Rasulullah, during which time Halima was giving milk, her own milk, to Prophet ﷺ and bringing him up in the pristine Bedouin area in the desert, in her family tent, wherever they lived. So few people you need to remember the names of. Halima is his wet nurse, yes, we all know that. Amina is his own mother. And Baraka Ayman, the woman who stayed, was present at birth, present at death, and stayed in Rasulullah's house all the way through and became part of Prophet's household. Subhanallah. Did you know that? Did you all know the story of Baraka Ayman? Study it. Those of us who are discussing racism today, look at the way Rasulullah dealt a blow to racism. Isn't it amazing that he had a black woman as a mother? How could he ever be racist? Impossible. Racism was rooted out from even the conscience of anybody. Is much known about Amina's own family and her possible conversion to Islam. No, Amina never converted to Islam, because Islam, in the way Rasulullah taught, was not available in the Middle East at that time, in Saudi Arabia, in Medina and Mecca. We don't know. But they certainly did not. Well, Abu Talib was a polytheist, a mushrik, did not die as a believer. So I'm assuming not much would be different to Amina and Abdullah. Abu Talib being Abdullah's brother, Prophet's father's brother, staunch supporter of Prophet, protector of Prophet all the way, but never believed in Allah, never believed in the message of the oneness of Allah in the way Rasulullah brought it to the society. Never did. So I'm assuming again, not much is available about the life of Amina, that she wouldn't be one of those who had the message to her. But whatever message they had before, according to Islam, if they believed in that message, Allah knows the best where their destiny is going to be. But we make dua. Allah will have mercy on those who He wants to be merciful to. Brothers and sisters, any questions from you at this stage? If you have, please raise them. I'm very happy to answer them. Today we've talked about oneness of Allah as one and the only. Remember at the beginning? I've divided up our lessons into 3 parts: Aqidah, Ibadat, and Muamalat. And I'll be talking about the life of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ throughout. Please clarify, Amina was from a town outside of Medina, not from Medina itself, because the Prophet went to the town before he entered Medina. Well, Medina as we have it now includes that town, that place. But at that time, there was no Medina, it's called Yathrib. So yes, correct. Alfonso says, brother, 7 years old. Oh, yes, has been asking me about woman. Okay, covering arm. Men, no. So 7 years old Taya has asked, why should a woman cover her arm and men don't? Taya, let me ask you a question. Very simple question to you. And I don't want to ignore this question. It's important. Thank you, Alfonso, for reminding me. Allah has made you and I, right? Allah knows what is best for you and I. Allah has made man and woman and has given them specific roles to play. And He's given them equal status in His eyes. In other words, they're all equal in His eyes. Allah told woman certain things and Allah told men certain things. For example, as a man, I'm not allowed to wear gold. I don't know whether you know this, Taya. I'm not allowed to wear gold, ring, necklace. I'm not allowed to wear gold at all. But you as a woman, you're allowed to wear gold. Why? Doesn't that sound unfair? Yes, it does. But when I surrender to Allah and accept Allah as my creator, who knows better than I do, then I accept it. Allah said to men that they can't wear 100% pure silk. I cannot wear pure natural silk. Clothes, I'm not allowed to. As a man, I'm not allowed. But a woman is allowed. I accept it. I accept it because I think Allah knows better about this. Like this, Allah has given women specific instructions. One of them is a woman should cover whole of her body except her face and her arms. And Prophet ﷺ showed her arms, his arms like this, from the wrist onwards. Because this instruction is from Allah, and because you believe in Allah, and you know Allah knows better than you do, you accept it. You don't turn around and say, oh, why don't men do the same? Well, there are lots of things men don't do that women can do. And women can't do, men can do. That's okay. For example, every month, a woman does not need to pray for a few days. She's given exemption. Allah has given her complete freedom. She does not need to pray. In fact, she should not be praying. A man doesn't have any of those breaks. He doesn't get any break. He has to pray 5 times a day, 365 days a year. So questioning what Allah has made is very important, of course, so that you can understand it. But at some point, you have to accept Allah knows better. And because Allah knows better in the way He has designed me, in the way He has designed you, we should accept what Allah knows. And I assume Allah has, in His knowledge, knows, very important, that we create a society that is safe for everybody. And He has given certain rules so that we can all live safely with one another. It's part of Allah's design to create a safe society, a society of love and care and compassion, a society that believes in Allah and depends on Allah. That's the answer to your question, Tai. I hope that answers it. Where did his mother die? This is interesting. She was traveling back to Yathrib, to where her parents came from, and she died en route. So therefore, she died en route, and we don't know where her grave is. I'm sure some historians know. I don't know. Lovely Nasrin says, when Ayman died before, or Baraka Ayman died several years after the death of Rasulullah. Several years. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu looked after her specially. Died en route, correct. Banazir died en route to a destination, either to her family home, Yathrib, or on the way back. As she was coming back, she died, but she died during traveling. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the baby Muhammad was with her, young Muhammad, and Baraka Ayman was with her, nobody else. And when she died en route, Baraka Ayman had Muhammad young with him, and Baraka Ayman had to do everything, and Rasulullah was left in the hands of a black mother, a foster mother, and she looked after him and looked after him very well. Alfonso said, Jazakallah khair, brother, for your answer. She has been asking me for a long time, but I didn't know how to answer it. She's very happy you answered. No problem, Taya. Allah make it easy for you. Anyone else has got any questions? Otherwise, inshallah, we'll slowly bring this to an end. I don't know whether you guys prefer 1 hour or 1.5 hours. It's up to you. I'd love to hear your views. What do you feel? 1 hour is enough? 7 to 8? Or should we do 7 to 8:30? Or would you prefer 8 to 9 o'clock? 1 hour. If it's 8 to 9, that's going to be an hour for sure. If it's 7, it can be 7 to 8:30. But currently we're doing 7 to 8:30. If you think an hour and a half is too much, you can always tell me and we can inshallah stop early. You don't have to commit to 1.5 hours if it's too much. Of course, people have got other things to do. I get it. I have no doubt about it. Okay, brothers and sisters, if there are no other questions, if there are nothing to worry about from ourselves in terms of questions, Alfonso says 7 to 10. Alfonso, my man, you will exhaust me. 7 to 10, I couldn't survive. I would just die. It would be too much. Let's do 7 to 8:30 for now. And inshallah, we'll play it by the ear, like we said. 1 hour gives best concentration span. I agree. So we'll focus on, I will do the first part for half an hour, take question and answers, and then we'll do the second part for another 15-20 minutes and then see how it goes. It is going to be 7 every Sunday, inshallah, Sunday evening, inshallah. I hope you can join us. You can tell all your friends and your families to join us. We're doing it on behalf of Whiteman Road Masjid, mashallah. Please do advertise it. Spread the word on the Facebook and YouTube channels that you know. Inshallah. Until next week, let me finish at this hour. 8 to 9 sounds good. Kids are asleep. I want kids to be part of the program. Takveem Khalid. Why do you want the kids to be sleeping? I want the kids to learn. 7 to 8 is probably get a time when the kids can be together, inshallah. When Muhammad was a young boy, did Angel Jibreel clean his heart? Aha, Ali Scully. We'll discuss this when we get there. Today, I'm just introducing you to these two people, or these four people, rather. Amina, Abdullah as the parents, Baraka Ayman, and Halima. I've just introduced you to all those. Inshallah, we'll answer that question later. But right now, I'm going to finish it. Inshallah, if you don't mind, I can go and get some dinner. I'm very hungry. Please tell everybody, if you've got any questions to raise, you can send an email to Sister Rabi if you have. I don't mind if you want to send a question to her directly. 7 to 8:30 is perfect. Thank you, Alfonso. I'm glad you approve. What are the rest of the crews from Ramadan? Do remind them. I'm glad Mangara families have joined, alhamdulillah. And of course, Alfonso is here and everybody else. May Allah bless you all, inshallah. I'll finish here. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما. Let's finish, inshallah. Fatima Mangara says, what's for dinner? I have no idea. I think some pasta. You're welcome to send me some food, Fatima. I know you Mangaras cook good food. I still remember watchthemangaras.com joke from Ramadan. Anyway, brothers and sisters, Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.